Bezrat Hashem, Parachat Shelah Lekha-How. We're going to start with the parasha, and we're going to move on Halacha, Kabbalah, a few things that parasha is going to give us. Just a small summary of the parasha. Moshe Rabbeinu, right, is given permission. He's given permission. What does it mean? He does not want to send spies. Right? Because if Hashem says, Tova Aretz Meod Meod, there's no doubt. You don't have to see. If Hashem is the Tova Aretz Meod Meod, Eretz Zavat Chalot Vash, there's no doubt. But they insisted to send. So Hashem says, Shelah Lekha. What is Shelah Lekha? The benefit is going to be you. You're going to benefit out of it. Why? Moshe Rabbeinu is not supposed to go into Israel. How old is Moshe Rabbeinu? He's 80 years old. Now that they're going to be punished, we know the end of the story. They're going to be punished. And they're going to stay 40 years in the desert. Moshe Rabbeinu is gaining 40 years of life. Because if they don't go in, he stays alive. So Shlach Lecha. You're going to benefit from this whole story because they're going to lose. They're going to, 40 years, they're just going to turn around. And you're going to gain out of it 40 years of life because normally you're supposed to leave them now. But now that they go, I know what's going to happen. Hashem is not going to intervene. Hashem is not going to stop them. Right? Because when you tell somebody, oh, no, why does it say no? There's something hiding over there, right? So Hashem says, okay, no. Shlach lecha. He says, Ani lo miya'itz otcha. I'm not giving you, it's not a good advice what they're doing, but I'm not stopping you. So Moshe Rabbeinu, in Parashat Devarim, not over here, Parashat Devarim, when he gives tochacha l'am Israel about what they did, right? He's telling them, Rashi brings a mashal. Mashal lema davar domeh. Somebody wanted to buy a car, a donkey, right? There's no car in times, a donkey, right? So he told the buyer, he's telling the seller, could I take it for a ride in the mountains? To climb a mountain, if the donkey is not healthy, it's going to fail. So the seller told him, take it, I have no problem with it. So he's so sure himself, can I take it to the valley? In the valley it's very hot. And if the animal is not very strong, it's going to faint. Can I take it to the valley? Take it to the valley. He asked him this. So when he saw the seller is so sure of himself, he said, I don't want to check nothing, I'm buying. Moshe Rabbeinu, he told him, I told you, you came, you asked me, could we send spies? Can we go to spy the land of Israel? I said, yeah, no problem, for sure. I was hoping, when you'll see I'm so sure of myself, you're not going to send. But you insisted. And this is what happened at the end. 40 years turning in the desert. Okay? So, they're coming back. And unfortunately, they speak bad about the land of Israel. Eretz ochelet yoshvea, right? Anshe midot, giants, right? We're going to see in the parasha, there's a lot of references for food. Eretz ochelet yoshvea, a land that eats its inhabitants. What type of language is this? Ochelet yoshvea? Lo mekayemet, you cannot live in it, it's hard to live in it, it's too hot, it's too cold. Ma ze ochelet yoshvea? What are you? The land is eating people. Furthermore than that, in the parasha later, in the parasha, as Moshe Rabbeinu is trying to convince them, they started to cry. Everybody started to cry. No one wants. So he's telling them, "Im chafetz banu Adonai ve'ivio otanu la'aretz azot." If Hashem really likes us, He's going to give us this land. Untana lanu eretz asher hi zavat chalav udvash, ach b'Adonai al timrodu. Ve'atem al tiru etam haaretz. You have nothing to be scared of the people there, because the meraglim they came says, "What? You know what we saw? Giants. You know how big they are? Vani benenu kachagavim. We were the size of grasshopper compared to them. So take a man and take a grasshopper. So now they're not small people. The minimum size of the Dor HaMidbar is 15 feet. Each one is 10 amot. 10 amot is 5 meters, 15 feet. It's not a small person. Now they're saying they're 15 feet, and they look like chagavim. They look like grasshoppers compared to the. Did they lie? Not at all. They said exactly what it was. V'sham, the Torah is telling us. V'sham acheman sheshai v'telmai bnei anak. They were 50 to 100 meters high. They're like, you're talking about almost 200 to 300 feet high, right? The Midrash is telling us one of them was eating a pomegranate. He threw it, and the klipa and the peel fell on the meraglim, covered them like a house. Well, the size we're talking, and they were not lying. It says emet. But look what Moshe Rabbeinu is telling them. Al tirau, don't be scared from them. Ki lachmenu hem. Ze lechem, em lechem. They're bread. Rashi says, we can eat them up. Lashon Rashi, ki lachmenu hem. Rashi says, we can eat them up like bread. Nochlem kalechem. כמו שאתה אוכל לחם, you're eating bread, הענקים האלה, we're going to eat them up like bread. Again, an expression of food. Why are we expressing this in food? Right? You can say, we can beat them up. נוכל לנצח אותם. Okay? You can use a lot of expressions. But מה זה לחמנו הם? הם לחם. מה זה לחם? Okay. So, in order to explain all this, we have to explain one thing. When the world was created, Bereshit was created, right? The top, it's like the cherry on top of the cake was what? Bri'at Adam Arishon, the creation of Adam Arishon. Hashem created everything. Shamayim, Aretz, Yabasha, Etzim, everything that you want. Hashem created everything, right? On the sixth day to the end, who was created? Adam and Chava. They were like the cherry on top of everything. Now Adam and Chava, Hashem is giving them a mission. He takes both of them, he brings them to Gan Eden, and he's telling them, you know why I created you? Mikol etz hagan tochal. I want you to eat from the trees. You see how many trees over there? But Gan Eden, there was thousands and thousands of fruit trees. Probably those trees don't even exist now. The fruits don't even exist now. And he told them, I want you to eat mikol etz hagan achol tochel. Omer Ramban, says the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, כל פעם שהיה אדם אוכל פרי, every time we did the fruit, היה מקבל מצוות עשה. מצוות עשה. זה כיף. לא צריך להניח תפילין, לא צריך לעשות שום דבר, כן? רק תאכל, eat, go, תאכל אפרסק, תאכל מישמיש, תאכל תפוח, מה שאתה רוצה, eat whatever you want. And every time you eat the fruit, נותן לך מצוות עשה. This is your credit mitzvot. This is why Adam was created, to eat fruits. מה זה? They're the cherry of the top of the cake. כל הבריאה הזאת, this whole perfect world. So Adam can eat fruits? זה התכלית הבריאה? This is all the creation about? It says, בזוהר כתוב, it says in the זוהר, היה הקדוש ברוך הוא בורא עולמות ומחריבן. He created other worlds before this world, but every time he says, this is not exactly the world I want, he destroyed it. There was no people inside. There was no people. Just he created worlds, and he destroyed them, but there was no people inside those worlds. Okay? So, boreh machriv, till he built this olam, oh, this is a perfect world. So because it's a perfect world, I want to put Adam and Chava, and now, Adam, I give you a mission. Mikol etz hagan achol tochel. זאת אומרת, means, יש איזה תכלית באכילה. Eating, there is something hiding behind this eating, right? Says the Rabbi Nishchai explains in this week's parasha. As you know, Rabbi Nishchai has his book is about halachot, but he has always an akdama, right? He has an akdama, a small introduction to the parasha, right? And he says that after the sin of Adam Arishon, right, and before also sometimes, there's what we call nitzotze kedusha. What's nitzotze kedusha? Okay. When Hashem created the world, okay, Friday night, okay, we say, יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ בכל צבאם. ויכל אלוהים מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ושבות מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, כן? וינח ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. וינח ביום השביעי. What day rested השם?
ינח, בלשון המילה.
כן, באיזה יום הוא נח?
שבע. שבת.
מתי הוא נח? When he stopped creating.
יום שישי.
יום שישי, אז למה כתוב ינח ביום השביעי?
יום שישי. שבת, התנ"ך.
וירא ביום בוקר.
אוקיי, מתי מתחיל יום שישי? מתי מתחיל שבת ביום שישי? סאנדאון. מה, שם עזר הסאנדאון?
כן. לפני סנדאון.
מה כתוב? ספק חשיכה, ספק חשיכה, אין מדליקים את הנרות. When sundown comes in, you're not allowed to light Shabbat candles. Sundown is of ספק יום, ספק לילה. It's maybe day, maybe night. You're not allowed to do anything. So Alex says, וינח ביום השביעי, אומר רש"י, brings רש"י, הקדוש ברוך הוא נכנס לתוך שבת, he went into the שבת, כחוט השערה. Hashem knows exactly 0.000000 when Shabbat starts. So it looked like he stopped on the 7th day, but באמת he stopped on the 6th. But what happened? There was things that Hashem wanted to complete in the Bria, in the creation, and those things were not completed. Some of them completed, some not completed. Some of them completed, like it says in Pirkei Avot in the 5th chapter, 10 דברים ברא הקדוש ברוך הוא בין השמשות, ערב שבת בין השמשות. Right? פי האתון, the donkey of Bil'am, right? Hamate, the stick of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? There's 10 things Hashem created בין השמשות. But there's something else Hashem created. Hashem created angels, but it was already Shabbat. So they stayed in a form of a neshama, but they didn't get a body. Those angels, those angels now, when they saw Adam and they saw themselves, he says, how come he has a body, we don't have a body? How come he's physical and spiritual, and we are only spiritual? We don't have a body like him. So they got jealous of Adam, and they became mazikim. Now they want to revenge Adam. Why? Why does he have a body? We don't have a body. So עכשיו זה מזיקים. הם רוצים להזיק לאדם. They want to hurt the Adam. כן? עכשיו, it's like a fight between us and them. Right? And what's happening now? Now Adam is entering a world which is called Olam HaTikun. In Olam HaTikun, Adam is going to have to elevate the creation to the top of the Tikkun. Okay? How does he do it? By eating. Why? Because all the bad is going to be reincarnated into food. By eating, you're elevating, right? There is 32 netivot HaChokhmah, 32 paths of Chokhmah, right? How many teeth do you have? You have 32 teeth, right? You have 32 teeth. Says the Rabbi Nishrai in a different parasha, when you eat, you have to be mechaven that with 32 teeth you have, even if you don't have 32, but the roots are there, the lights are there, right? It's ma'aleh le'olam ha'elyon. When we come in the morning, what's the first thing after Birkot HaShachar we do in the synagogue? Li'atef betzitzit. Li'atef starts with the letter lamed, betzitzit bet. Lamed bet זה 32. 32 אורות מסובבים את האדם בגלל שהוא מתעטף בציצית. 32 circles Adam. So this is called Olam HaTikun. I'm not going to speak a lot into it, but I'm just explaining to you so you understand. There is Tikkun means Adam is created to elevate the Bria to its Tikkun. Okay? Now, the elevation, says the Rabbi Nishrai, is done through eating. כי ניצוצות הקדושה מעורבים בקליפה שלהם. כן? לכן, that's why, Adam HaRishon is going to get a mitzvah of eating, right? And Hashem is going to ask us to come to the land of Israel to elevate those Nitzutzot HaKdusha. Okay? So now, you're going to see. whatever we do tikkun in this world, the biggest tikkun is what? Eating. לאכול. כן? אתה אומר, אני שם תפילין. אתה אומר, you say, I do this mitzvah, put tzitzit. I do this mitzvah. You know what's the biggest mitzvah? Eating and elevating the food in the thing.
Elevating what?
The food. The neshamot, the nitzotzot, which are in the food, that's the biggest mitzvah you can do. That's why when you're eating, look at the big tzaddikim. I take, for example, Rebbes, Admorim. What they do? Tish. Right? You know, the Tish is like Friday night. הרבי מזמין את כל החסידים שלו. יש למשל חסידות גור. כל Friday night 15,000 אנשים אצל הרבי. חסידות בלז, 10,000 people by the Rebbe every Friday night. חסידויות אחרות, 1,000 people, 500 people. אתה מדבר על gatherings, ומה עושים בטיש הזה? הרב אוכל, תואם, he tastes, right? דג גדול, סופ, זה, תואם, ונותן לו כל החסידים to taste. And it's impressive. You have to see it, right? This is the תיקון של שבת קודש. לאכול, לדעת, to know.
על הזרם האשכנזי מדובר.
כן, אבל גם הזרם הספרדי.
בגלל זה הם תואמים.
כן.
למה לא עושים את זה פה? למה לא עושים את זה פה?
ספרדים אין להם את הדבר הזה. הספרדים, תכף תראה מה אנחנו עושים. הנה. זה מה אנחנו עושים. אנחנו עושים את זה. אבל תכף נגיע לשם. We're going to get there. Okay? So this is what's happening right now. Shabbat is the biggest time you can elevate the Bria. כי הכל נח. Everything is relaxed. Everything is resting. And now Hashem is giving us the chance to elevate everything. So we're going to get now soon to the parasha. לחמנו הם, כן, לאכול. We're going to go to all these things. But I want to show you certain things. Now, that the Rabbi Ish Chai says, kavanot laish hapashut. What does it mean, laish hapashut? We sometimes think, right, Kabbalah, we think the Kabbalah, it's not for us. But you have to understand, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai אומר, כל עוד עם ישראל לא לומד זוהר וקבלה, לא יצאו מהגלות. If you don't learn Kabbalah, you don't learn Zohar. Now, Kabbalah, there's a lot of levels. Rabbi Ish Chai is reducing the level 1. You don't have to be a big tzaddik. You don't have to be a big admor. But there is a minimum. In Kabbalah, there's minimum. In this minimum, he says, Kol ish pashut, every simple man has to do. And we'll start by Friday night. What he says. Before we get there, right? There's 4 worlds, Arba Olamot. There is the mineral world, mineral, melach, sidan, all the minerals in the ground. Those minerals feed another world on top of them, which is tzomeach, all the vegetation. The vegetations, the chasa, the trees, everything nourishes from the ground, right? So the minerals give to the olam at tzomeach. Tzomeach, who eats the grass, who eats all the things? The animals, the cows, the sheep, they eat it, right? And who eats them? The man. So we have, and like domen, tzomeach, chai, medaber. Okay? Every day in the prayer, says the Rabbi Ish Chai, in the second prayer, we say, סומך נופלים, רופא חולים, מתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. לשני עפר. לא לשני עפר, לא לשני, שניים זה לא שניים, לשני, אלה שיושנים, those are sleep in the ground.
למה לא כתבו ליושני עפר?
כי זה לא בדקדוק. לשני עפר. לא יושני, לשני עפר. ישנים. אתה לא אומר יושנים, אתה אומר הם ישנים. כן?
נכון.
ישנים. אוקיי.
עפר מה זה?
עפר. עפר מן האדמה. עפר. Right? חול. So now, said the Rabbi Ish Chai, when we say this every morning, every afternoon, every night in the prayer, we're supposed to think to elevate neshamot, either captured in man, means reincarnation, חזרו בגלגול, either captured in animals, זה רופא חולים. Somebody who comes back as an animal, הוא חולה. You know why he's חולה? Why he's sick? Because he knows he's coming from man. הוא יודע שהוא היה בן אדם בגלגול הקודם, ועכשיו הוא חיה. זה הצער הכי גדול שיכול להיות, הוא חולה מזה. פתאום הוא פרה, פתאום הוא חמור, פתאום הוא כלב, פתאום... והוא יודע שבגלגול הקודם הוא היה בן אדם. הוא חולה מזה. אנחנו מתפללים עליו, רופא חולים. אחר כך יש לך מתיר אסורים, זה הצומח. מי שמתגלגל בצומח, הוא תקוע במקום אחד, לא יכול לזוז.
הוא
מודע לכך. ואחר כך יש לך לישני עפר, כן? זה המינרל. ואנחנו מתפללים בתפילה שלנו כל יום, שחרית, מלחה וערבית, מתפללים על האנשים האלה שהשם יחזיר אותם למקור שלהם. כן? למשל, for example, you catch a fish. Not all fish have neshama, but in case this fish has a neshama, by eating it, you're returning it to its source. מה זה? רק עשית ברכה. כן. אם לא עשית ברכה, מסכן עוד פעם יורד. כן. לכן המצווה הכי גדולה לאכול דגים בשבת. כי אומרים שהקדוש ברוך הוא מגלגל את הצדיקים בדגים. Why? דגים לא צריכים שחיטה. פרה, כן? היא צריכה שחיטה, לא יודע אם זה יצא כשר, לא יצא כשר. דג תמיד כשר. אז בשביל שהצדיק לא יסבול הרבה, הוא מגלגל אותו בדג, שיעלה מיד.
כן, אבל כשאתה מברך בדרך כלל בשבת, שאתה מברך את עושה...
המוציא.
אז אתה מברך על הדג, כביכול שם.
נכון, לא צריך, אתה רק אוכל אותו.
אתה מכסה את הכל.
במוציא אתה מכסה את כל מה שיש על השולחן.
כן, כן.
ואז אתה מעלה את הדג.
אתה לא מברך, כמו שאתה מברך על פרי לדוגמה, אתה מברך על...
כן, בורא פרי עץ, נכון. אז זה בשבוע. בשבוע אתה יכול לברך על הדג. אבל בשבת אתה מוציא את הכל, ורק האכילה שלך מעלה את הנשמות. רק לאכול. לכן החסידים מאוד מקפידים לאכול דג בשבת. גם הספרדים. בבא סאלי היה מקפיד מאוד לאכול דגים גדולים. אומר, בדגים הגדולים יש נשמות גדולות. פעם אומרים שתפסו איזה דג 30 קילו, משהו כזה. ערבים תפסו דג. They caught a fish 30 kilos. אמרו, מי יקנה דג כזה? אמרו, רק על סדיק. בבא סאלי. הלכו אליו, אמר להם, אני קונה אותו בכל מחיר, כל מחיר אני קונה את הדג הזה, ואמר לשמש שלו, לך תאסוף אנשים, הלילה יש הילולה. אמר לו, רבנו, איזה הילולה? הלילה אין הילולה. אמרתי לך, יש הילולה הלילה, אז תעשה הילולה. כן? He made the הילולה that night, invited, Baba Sali invites you for הילולה, who doesn't come to Baba Sali? A lot of people came, and he told them, a name of a tzaddik, הוא אמר להם, הוא מגולגל בדג הזה. And he told them, it's a mitzvah, each one should taste from this fish. נתן להם לטעום, he gave him to taste from this fish. He told them, זה היה... עשה להם טיש. בבא סאלי היה עושה טיש. מה עושה בבא סאלי? עם הערק וכל זה, היה עושה טיש. אנחנו לא קוראים לזה טיש, אנחנו קוראים לזה הילולה. אבל זה טיש, אותו דבר. אשכנזים עושים טיש, ספרדים עושים הילולה. כן? אז שבת זה הזמן של elevation, spiritual elevation. כן? עכשיו בוא נראה. תראו מה אומר רבי ישחי. דיברנו על לחם. מה הם אמרו? כי לחמנו הם. הענקים האלה זה כמו לחם. נאכלם כמו לחם. בוא נראה מה קורה עם לחם. צריך להבין שכל מה שאנחנו אוכלים, whatever we eat, right, has very high meaning. It's not just because it's called bread. In Hebrew, right, you can call it bread in English, le pain. Okay? In Hebrew, the word lechem has a meaning. Lechem. Lamed, Chet, Mem. Lamed, valeric number is 30. Chet, in valeric number is 8. Mem, valeric number is 40. 30 plus 8 plus 40, that's 78. You know what 78? 3 times Hashem's name. 78. That's why when we take the piece of bread, we dip it 3 times in the salt. Some people have the custom to say it out loud. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Loch. Some people even sing it. על פי ההלכה לא צריך להגיד את זה, you have to think it. So you dip it, השם מלך, השם מלך, השם ימלוך, לא מבית. Because Hashem is 78. That's lechem. That's lechem. So when you eat bread, basically you're elevating 3 times Hashem's name. Hashem's name. Let's go a little bit down. Let's go a little bit deeper. A little bit deeper. Okay? A little bit deeper. Al pi HaKabbalah, lefi HaArizal, you're supposed to have 12 mini rolls on the table. Most of the houses, they have 2 chalot. Al pi HaKabbalah, right? Rabbi Yishai brings it down in Parachat Vayera. Al pi HaKabbalah, you're supposed to have 12 mini rolls. What does it mean? It means you have to fix them, right? You have to fix them in the following manner. You put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 6, right? They look like 2 triangles where the point is pointing to each other. On top of them, you put another challah. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's 12. And you do motzi on the middle ones, the 2 middle ones. Okay? Al pi HaKabbalah. Then the next morning, you replace the 2 middle ones that you ate, and you do again motzi on 12 challah. People find that hard to do. And also, if you don't follow Kabbalah so much, right? So, says the Rabbi Nishchai, אפילו שאתה לא הולך לפי הקבלה, that you don't do everything on pi Kabbalah, it'd be advisable to make motzi on 4 chalot. Yeah. How many chalot do you need for Shabbat? Minimum? How many chalot do you need for the whole Shabbat? Minimum? How many chalot do you need for Shabbat? 4. Why? You eat 2 in the morning, you need 2 for the night, right? You eat 1, let's say you eat 1. You're left with 1, right? You're left with 1. Now, you have to put another one for the morning, right? So how many chalot already? 3, right? You eat 1. You eat 1. And then you need another one to replace for Sudah Shelishit. How many chalot you have total? Minimum 4. For Shabbat, you need minimum 4 chalot. That's minimum. That's regardless Kabbalah or Kabbalah, for Shabbat you need 4 chalot. So you can have lechem mishneh Friday night, Shabbat morning, and Shabbat afternoon.
You're talking about chalot or you're talking about...
Chalot, challah roll, whatever you want. We need 4 whole chalot. Can be challah roll, can be challah, can be whatever you want. Oh, says the Rabbi Nishchai, you put all 4 in the table. אם אתה רוצה להיות כאילו in between the pshat, the Kabbalah, you put 4 on the table. How do you put the 4? You put 1, 2, 1 on top, 1 on top. So the 2, 1 on top of the other, 2, 1 on top of the other. That's 4. Why 4? Yud, Ke, Vav, Ke. Yud, Ke, Vav, Ke. The name of Hashem, right? He says the 2 top ones represent Yud and Vav. The 2 bottom one, He and He. You know what's He? He is called Malchut. He is receiving, the receiver, right? You should know, when we eat Shabbat, whatever you eat Shabbat, this is going to be your parnasah of the week. Which means, you eat Friday night, you are giving parnasah to Sunday, Monday. You eat Shabbat in the morning, you're giving parnasah to Tuesday, Wednesday. You eat Sudah Shlishit, Thursday, Friday. The whole week gets the bracha of Shabbat. Now, the bracha comes from Hashem. That's why he says, the Rabbi Yishchai, you have 4 chalot, Yud, He on top, Yud Vav on top, He ve'He. He is the receiver. You take 2 chalot, you make a motzi on 2. You don't make motzi on 4. Yeah, you take just the 2 top ones. You leave the 2 bottom ones. And you say, Potach et yadecha, u'mezbeach hatzon, bochat Hashem, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, you cut the top one. Now, you have to be mechaven. The Yud Vav is giving the bracha to the 2 bottom ones. And this is giving the bracha Friday night to Sunday, Monday, Shabbat morning to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Shabbat afternoon, Sudah Shlishit, to Thursday, Friday. Now you can say, תעזוב, לא בשבילי. Says the Rabbi Yishchai, זה לאנשים פשוטים.
פשוטי העם.
פשוטי העם. אחר אתה אומר, למה אין לי ברכה? למה לא הצליח לו היום? חביבי, הנה הברכה, יום שישי. לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. אתה אומר את זה בתפילה. אז הנה מקור הברכה. הנה, אומר רבי ישחי, this is the ברכה. This is simple things that it says, Adam Pashut. He says, you don't have to be a Kabbalist, you don't have to be a high level. You can be a simple man. Listen, you need 4 chalot anyways. You need 4 chalot. Well, regardless, right? So put them on the table. Put them on the table in this manner, 2 and 2, one on top of the other. Think about Yud Vav. I'm giving the bracha. Baruch atah Hashem utziach min haaretz. I cut the side. Huh? No, not halacha. That's what I'm saying. It's not halacha. Yeah, it's not halacha. But, says Rabbi Yishchai, ze mavi bracha. People are running to tzaddikim. People are running all over. They're looking books, segulot. You have the segula on your table. This is on your table. You can have it on your table. You don't have to run anywhere. זה הברכה בשולחן. אתה לא צריך לרוץ לשום מקום. Right? Now.
רגע, אם אתה שם 4 ואתה גומר 2, נשאר רק 2.
רק שנייה אחת. כשאתה עושה המוציא, זה הלכה עכשיו. כשאתה עושה המוציא, על חלה אחת, נכון? אתה חותך חלה אחת, נכון? It says that the second חלה has to be kept for the next morning.
אז מה, לא חותכים את זה?
לא חותכים את השנייה. חותכים אחת אחרת. למה? למה?
תמשיך אותי בעשר השנייה.
תראה. You took 2 chalot, right? Let's before you get there. Why you cover the challah? Because the challah is embarrassed from the wine. When you have bread in the week, you have bread and you have wine. What you say first? Motzi. Motzi is more important than wine. During the week, נכון? Comes Shabbat, Friday night, you do kiddush on wine. So the challah say, מה קרה? I'm more important than wine. Why is he making borei pri hagefen on the bread? So in order not to be embarrassed her, we have covered the challah. זה כתוב בהלכה. נכון? אז עכשיו אתה עושה מוציא על 2 חלות. Let's say you don't do 4. You make 2 חלות. You must have 2 חלות, נכון? 2 חלות זה הלכה. Why 2 חלות זה הלכה? לחם משנה. On Friday, the man can down double. So you must have 2 חלות. Friday night, Shabbat, and Suda Shlishit. נכון? Now, when you do a motzi lechem min haaretz and you cut just the right one, the left one says, why did he make the bracha on the right one? Why did he make a bracha on me? So she's embarrassed. אתה יודע מה אתה אומר לה? מותק, חכי למחר. Wait for tomorrow. So I take this challah, I put it in the kitchen. Tomorrow, בשבת בבוקר, when I sit again to eat, I take this second challah and I make motzi on this second challah. אבל תגיד לי, רגע, יש לי אורחים. I need 2 חלות to cut. תביא חלה מהמטבח, תביא עוד חלה אחרת. bring another חלה. אבל את זאתי שלא חתכת, זאתי שעשית מוציא רק על הימנית, put her... Yeah, but what are you cutting first? She's embarrassed. כן, אבל אתה תמיד לוקח את הימנית. You always take the right one.
איפה ששרוף של הבן שלך.
אתה מבין? אתה like you're embarrassing her.
מה קורה שאתה לא יכול בבוקר בשבת?
מה זה, אין דבר כזה לא יכול בבוקר בשבת. למה לא תאכל בבוקר בשבת? זה מצווה לאכול סעודה. לא, you cannot say. Yeah, you can do it with challah and rolls. You can do it. It doesn't make a difference the size. The size does not.
Is it better if you take the challah roll out of the bag, or you can do it with the bag?
No. You cannot do it with the bag. You cannot do bracha with gloves. You cannot do bracha in a challah in a bag. You have to hold the challah.
Two actual physical.
Too physical.
To handle it. צריך להרגיש אותו.
Yeah. סעודה רביעית. Then you can eat them. Then after סעודה השנייה, that's it. After סעודה השנייה, that's it.
אז מה עשינו? בירכנו על אחד, אכלנו אותה,
כן?
ומביאים אחד מהמטבח, ומעניבים אותה את זה ש...
לא, אתה אומר לו חכי עד למחר, מחר נעשה מוציא עלייך.
ההתחלה הזאת, אז שאכלת אותה, אתה
נו.
אומר לו, לא, גמרתי עליך, אני הולך לגמור על השנייה.
למה? מה הבעיה?
לא יודע מה הבעיה.
לא, אתה אוכל את החלה.
מגיע לכבוד, גם אתה פותח את ידיך, מצביע.
מחר, the next day you're going to do it.
לא, אני מדבר על השנייה שאתה אוכל באותו ערב.
אוקיי, נו.
עשית, פותח את זה.
היא לא הייתה בשולחן, אז לא, היא לא הייתה בשולחן, אז לא בעיה. אין בעיה.
היא על השולחן, לא משנה.
אם היא למטה. זה לא משנה.
People eat gluten free. It's not המוציא.
Why not? Gluten free is motzi. Gluten free is just a substance in the wheat. I'll ask you, gluten free is chametz b'Pesach?
No.
100% yes. Do you know the cereal Cheerios? Cheerios. It says in big on the bottom, gluten free. Gluten is just a substance in the wheat, right? That some people are allergic to. So what do? They have a technique to take off the gluten, but it's completely chametz. It's completely motzi.
But you have gluten-free butter too.
So gluten free is completely motzi. There's no problem.
But it's not made of wheat.
It's made of what? It doesn't make. Can be made of flour or of.
Rice flour.
No, the rice flour is not. But you have how do you call it? Not barley. You have wheat, barley, and oats and spelt. A lot of people which are sensitive to gluten, they eat spelt. Spelt is one of the 5 grains. It's motzi.
Is המוציא?
Yes, spelt is motzi, 100%. And people that have problem with the gluten should eat spelt matzah. They make special production of spelt matzah for Pesach, and it's kasher לפסח.
גלוטין זה, מה שעושה את זה גם שמרים, לא? האיסט.
No. In the wheat there's gluten, and there's a technique to take out the gluten to make it gluten free.
זה אוקיי, I can understand, but אם you put yeast, באופן אוטומט
זה חמץ, זה מוציא.
זה חמיצה.
Yeah. So let's continue fast. So you see, this is one thing. Second thing, kos shel kiddush. Kos shel kiddush. You know the kos shel kiddush? Some people buy it with a leg. Some people buy it without the leg. Is there a difference? Halacha? Halacha wise, is there a difference? With the leg, without the leg? So why a lot of people buy it with the leg? Without the leg? Huh? No? Why?
חזון איש.
No?
מה,
Okay.
הכוס?
כן.
רוצים להחזיק אותה שיהיה כזה...
Okay. The cup,
5 אצבעות?
cup.
כוס.
תראה, cup. כוס בגמטריה אלוקים. כוס, כף, וו, סמך. כף is 20, וו is 6, סמך is 60. 20 plus 6 plus 60 זה 86. אלוקים is 60. אלוקים זה דין. Wine is red. red זה דין. מה אתה עושה עכשיו יום שישי? אתה ממתיק את הדין. איך אתה לוקח? אז לוקח 3 טיפות מים, לא כוס, 3 טיפות מים, אתה שם בתוך הכוס, 1, 2, 3, המתקת את הדין. עכשיו, להמשיך את המתקת הדינים, מה אתה עושה? אתה שם את הכוס בכף היד. 86, כוס, 86, כף היד has 5 fingers. 86 is 5 and 5 is how much? 91. What's 91? 91 is 2 names of God. Yud Ke Vav Ke, which is Amonai. And there's another way to write Amonai, Aleph, Daled, Nun, and Yud. Yud Ke Vav Ke is 26. Amonai is 65. 26 and 65 is 91. When you put the cup in your hand, אתה ממתיק את הדין. So now, the reason a lot of people don't choose a leg, because it's harder to catch it. You're going to have to catch it from the bottom. It's not going to be so balanced. So they prefer to have it flat on the bottom, so it can be more easy to hold. אם יש לך כוס עם רגל ואתה אוהב אותה, תמשיך. אין בזה שום בעיה. הלכה, there's no problem whatsoever. It's only a question of commodity.
But both of them You have to put on your hand and to
Right. Okay. So there's no problem. So you can have a leg. If you feel comfortable, there's a leg, and you hold it from the bottom. It's good. If you don't have a leg, huh? Oh, so there's two ways to hold the kiddush cup. Either you put it in the middle of the palm of the hand, and you put the fingers around, so it should be כשושנה, שושנה אדומה בין החוכים, או שאתה שם את זה on the tip of your hand, and you just fold your fingers, just fold the fingers, okay? And you put it around the cup. The important is the fingers should touch the cup. The 5 fingers should touch the cup. Okay? Now, huh?
As long as your fingers touch the top, the base doesn't matter? Meaning, if you're having a gavia, how are you going to touch the
Yeah, so then you put a space and you put it in here, and you have the cup, right? Or you can hold it from the bottom if you want. Either in between, either from the bottom, it's the same thing. That's why some people prefer not to have the bottom.
אני מה שאני עושה, אני שוטף את הכוס, נשאר בו קצת...
לא, צריך להוסיף את ה3 טיפות.
3 טיפות מים.
השלוש טיפות זה אחרי שמילאת את הכוס, לא לפני.
Ice cube is too much.
No, you don't put ice cubes in there. No ice cubes. Just 3 drops of water. Okay? So now I want... Yeah, you could put it. Yeah. Now... What?
What about if I hold the cup on the side?
Halacha, there's no problem. Halacha, there's no problem. But Kabbalah is to put it on your palm of your hand.
What's the difference?
Huh?
The difference was with the finger.
It's the fingers.
So
So
what is here?
here, no, the difference is the finger rolling around the cup, going around the cup. So it can be like this. It can be also like this. The Arizal prefer that it should be on the tip, and the tips of the finger go around the cup. Okay?
The cup should be sitting on your...
Exactly, the tips should touch the surround the cup.
The other way was the finger, the side of the finger holding the palm.
Right. If you have a leg,
Or even if you don't have...
you don't have a leg, so either you put it in the middle of the palm and you wrap around the fingers, or you put it on the tip of the fingers and you wrap the tip of the fingers around. The important is that the fingers should touch the cup.
So both is the same
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, it's both the same idea, right? Now, he's asking, could I catch the cup like this, like a drink? Right? Halacha, Rabbi Tzion Abba Shaul used to do that. But Kabbalah, to elevate a little bit, what are we trying to do? We're trying to, Friday, Shabbat, we're trying to a little bit elevate. You know, the whole week we're running, we don't have time for this, we don't have time. Shabbat, you're not rushing anywhere. Why can't you do actions that can elevate, right, and bring bracha, and bring a little bracha, right? So I want to show you something. The Rabbi Nishchai says over here, the Rabbi Nishchai אומר, כוונה לאדם פשוט. כוונה לאדם פשוט. אוקיי, I come to the קידוש now. מה? עכשיו לוקח את הקידוש, זהו, יום השישי ויכול השמיים והארץ. אומר רבי נשחי, או רבי נשחי, he says, the first thing after you filled up the cup, you know what you have to do? You have to see the metzach, your forehead, right, in the cup. So that's why we prefer to have red wine, so we can see. So אתה מסתכל בתוך הכוס, אתה מסתכל על המצח. למה? מצח, if you look at your forehead, מצח, is 138. Mem is 40, tzadik is 90, chet is 8, 138. 138 is בגמטריה the same valerical number as הצלחה. אתה רוצה להצליח? תראה את המצח שלך בתוך הכוס מים, בתוך הכוס יין. בקידוש. Friday night only Friday night. Now, second thing. Said the Rabbi Nishchai, you looked at your forehead, הצלחה. Then you take the cup, and you look, and you try to see your right eye. Then you try to see your left eye. Why? Ayin, in Hebrew, ayin, the word ayin, which is eye, ayin, yud, nun, is valerical number 130. 130 is 5 times 26. You know that in your eye, you don't see that. In your eye, there's 5 times 26 Shem Hashem. The Rabbi Nishchai, in his Siddur, the Rabbi Nishchai, also, you know where you see it? Avodat Hashem, Siddur Avodat Hashem. If you open Avodat Hashem, in the third or fourth page, he has a picture of your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your forehead. He shows you how many times Ozen is begematria, I think 6 times Shem Hashem. Ayin begematria 5 times Shem Hashem. He shows you and he tells you, if you want to have healthy organs, תתקן את שם השם. תתקן את שם השם. יש איזה, אם כואב לך עין, your eye hurts you, זאת אומרת שאחד משמות השם הוא לא... When people have problems, what's the first thing we tell them to do? Check your mezuzah. Why? Because most probably your problem. I'll tell you a story that happened to me. I have next to my house, I had a top doctor, like he was one of the top doctors in Canada. And you know, every problem, tack. One day he went outside to shovel the snow. He moved one of the discs. An ambulance came to take him to the hospital. And because he had connections and everything, they gave him morphine. He stayed in the hospital at least 2 weeks. Then they brought him home. The doctors told him he has to stay 3 months in bed. So it was my neighbor. So I went to visit him. How are you? And he had the emunah, but don't push too much. So we talked, how are you? He started explaining, this is what happened to me. I shoveled and I did a wrong movement. I told him, tell me something. When was the last time you checked your mezuzah in the tefillin? Oh, don't start off with this story. I told him, let's talk as friends. What was the last time you checked your mezuzah? He told me, I never checked it. I told him, what do you think about now that you're in bed like this? Why do you think about checking mezuzah? No. So we continued talking and everything. After a week, he calls me. I want to talk to you. Okay. I go to him. Makara. He says, after you left, it made me thinking. I took my mezuzah to check. Because I told him, listen, you know what? If you don't want to check the whole mezuzahs of the house, at least check 2 mezuzot. Your bedroom and the front of the house. So I told him, after he left, I was thinking, he sent the 2 mezuzahs to check. Tishmu it. In the mezuzah of the bedroom, the word, Amila, ublechtecha baderech, ubelechtecha, there's a lamed, right? The lamed was cut on the bottom, exactly איפה שלא בעיה בדיסק. בגב. He saw that, he flipped. הבן אדם התהפך. Mars, every time I used to tell him something, yeah, I'm going to do it. There's no joke, there's no games. Your mezuzah is like, how do you call those, motherboard. You have things in the, right? Does not mean that every problem is going to be there. Right? But a lot of times the mezuzah is one of the indications of the problems you have. אם יש לך בעיה, אם יש לך בעיה בעין, יכול להיות שהמזוזah תגיד לך. ואם לא, תתקן את זה בקידוש. תתקן. כן, נכון, אני זוכר, נכון.
אני רוצה להחזיר אותך לטיפול של 3 דקות של המים. זה בכל קידוש?
לא, רק ב-Friday night, only Friday night. Friday night, not in the morning. כן, תכף נגיע לשם, נגיע.
What's the problem if we do
What? To add 3 what? No need. Because the night is din. The night is din. The morning is chesed, you don't need. Lemateket adin is only at night when it's night. In the morning you don't need. Okay? So to tell you, Rabotai, this is small. Now you understand what Moshe Rabbeinu is telling them? You want to overcome the Anakim? You want to overcome the people there? לחם, הם לחמנו הם, כמו לחם, תאכל אותם כמו לחם. מה זה כמו לחם? תעשה ברכות כמו שצריך. make קידוש on Friday night. והאויב שלך ייפול, ינמס. Your enemy is going to melt in front of you. אתה לא צריך להילחם. לא אקדח, לא סכין, לא שום דבר. לחמנו הם. כן? They're like bread. Okay? ארץ אוכלת יושביה. למה אוכלת? אם אתה לא עושה את התיקון של ארץ ישראל, היא אוכלת אותך. Because אדם הראשון was born for what? To eat from the fruits. So everything we do in life, what was the first sin? By eating. Eating was the first sin in the creation. נכון, אז זה היה sin. מה התיקון? Eating. תאכל. I heard once from Rav Kaduri, he told one of the students told him, I have to go somewhere, איזה מקום רחוק, תיקח בקבוק מים. So why? תעשה שם ברכה. יכול להיות שבמקום שאתה תלך, in the place you're going to go, there's going to be נשמות. By doing שהכל, you're going to elevate those נשמות. We don't understand. We have such an easy thing to make a bracha and to elevate. רק צריך לעשות ברכה בכוונה. When you say ברכה כמו הצדיק הזה, נשמעת יוסף בן שרה, זה elevations, אתה מבין? זה to elevate souls, אתה עושה את זה עם אוכל. רק עם אוכל, כן? זה ה-biggest elevation you can do. אין לך איפה לרוץ. אבל Friday night, let's take the time, you have time. איפה אתה רש? אתה רץ לאיזה מקום, right? You're not rushing anywhere. So, מה כואב לעשות קצת כוונה, לוקח את הכוס, כן? There's another thing. They say when you do Friday night, when you do the Kiddush, the first part of the Kiddush, you're supposed to look at your candles of your wife. The first part of the Kiddush, you're supposed to look at the candles of your wife. Why? כתוב, יש בזה סוד גדול. The ספרים don't even write the סוד. The ספרים לא, כן? It's like נרות חנוכה. הם אומרים, המקובלים אומרים, when you light candles of Hanukkah, and you look at the light, נכנס לך כמו אור לנשמה. בתוך הנשמה נכנס לך אור. Light into your נשמה. Friday night, when you do קידוש, יום השישי וילכו לשמיים, look at the candles of שבת, נכנס אור לנשמה. אתה אולי לא רואה. How many candles you look? If your wife lights 3, 4, 5. אומר הריזל, רק על שתי נרות להסתכל. Only on 2 candles. Why? זכור ושמור. כן, כן, אז תיקח 2. Take 2 of them and just look at those 2. Look at those 2. למה? עוד פעם, אתה מכניס קדושה בנשמה שלך. You putting קדושה in your נשמה. הדליקה. אז שאתה הדלקת. You understand? Those simple things, right? They bring light to neshama, they elevate the בריאה. אומר רבי שמעון בר יוחאי, דרך המצוות האלה, ככה יבוא משיח. ככה יבוא משיח. הדברים האלה מביאים משיח. למה? רבי שמעון בר יוחאי. Okay? למה? הוא אומר, כל הדברים האלה, זה התכלית. זה התכלית. כל אחד צריך לעשות את זה. לכן הרב בן איש חי אומר, הלחם, on the bread, and the קידוש, הוא אומר, כל אדם פשוט בביתו. הוא אומר, לא צריך להיות קבליסט ולא שום דבר. קצת כוונה. כן? When you come in the morning, and you put tefillin, what do you think? קודם כל, הריני בא לשעבד ליבי ומוחי. So I'm putting on next to my heart, and I'm putting on my brain, and I want to submit my heart and my brain to Hashem Yitbarach. Hashem, I'm going to do what you want. I'm submitting myself to you, right? Okay? Also, Hashem said, "Vayilot el yadecha." Every mitzvah has a kavana, right? Every mitzvah has kavana. כן, גם זה, יש כל כך הרבה כוונות, כל המצוות שלנו זה למתק את הדינים, to put the din, to sweeten the din, כן? אז לכן, הקדוש ברוך הוא רצה להכניס אותם לארץ ישראל, הקדוש ברוך הוא wanted to bring עם ישראל לארץ ישראל, כן? אבל היה שם דינים, מה היו הדינים? הכנענים שגרו שם זה היה דינים, the Knaanit that lived in Israel, they were din. So הקדוש ברוך הוא רצה למתק, he wanted to make the din sweeter. How do you do that? You know how you do that? Nothing. What is Moshe Rabbeinu asking from Hashem when Hashem is telling him, you're not going to go to Israel? What does Midrash say? Let me go for one day, לאכול מפריה ולשבוע מטובה. Moshe Rabbeinu is asking Hashem, okay, לא נכנס לישראל, אני לא אכנס לישראל, לא אכנס. But let me go one day, לעשות בורא פרי בורא פרי אדמה בארץ ישראל. Why is it that when we make a bracha achrona on a fruit coming from Israel, the bracha changes? Instead of saying על המחיה ועל הכלכלה, we say על מחייתה ועל כלכלתה. Because Israel has a much elevated tikkun. That's why the Arizal says, in Chutz La'aretz you have 2 day Yom Tov. In Israel you have 1 day. Because whatever it takes 1 day in Israel to do, in Chutz La'aretz takes 2 days, he says. So even though we're בקיאים, we know the calendar, אומר אריזל, על פי הקבלה אתה צריך 2 ימים בחוץ לארץ, מה שבישראל ייקח יום אחד. משה רבנו אמר להשם, please Hashem, give me 1 day to זכות, just to make a bracha on a fruit. In Israel. Oh, הגמרא שואלת את השאלה. The Gemara is asking the question, why Kippur is 1 day? You know why? The Gemara says, זה גזירה שאין הציבור יכול לעמוד. Really, Kippur should have been 2 days בחוץ לארץ. But because people cannot fast 2 straight days, so they made 1 day like everywhere. Even that לקחו בחשבון. So רבותיי, the idea of the class today is מצוות צריכות קצת כוונה. Let's start to think about what we're doing. In the week you were rushing, we don't have time. But at least Shabbat, on the Kiddush, on the Motzi, whatever we eat, right? When you eat fish, say to Hashem, maybe there's a neshama, שתעלה נשמה הזאת למעלה. When you eat the meat, אולי יש נשמה, שתעלה למעלה. When you break brachot on fruit, שיעלו למעלה. You have to understand something. If you have the zchut to eat something, and it had a neshama inside, and you elevated it, right? הצדיק הזה מתפלל עליך. מתפלל, he prays for you. He prays for you because you elevated the neshama. The Rabbi Nishchai, I'm finishing Parashat Pinchas. Rabbi Nishchai brings down a story. There was a lady, she was cleaning wheat. You know, grains of wheat. Sometimes there's bugs, sometimes there's dirt. She was cleaning. All of a sudden, in a big bag of wheat, she found tmara. Tmara like a date. Oh, tmara, Baruch Hashem. She took the date, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokei Haolam, Borei Pri Adama. And she ate it. At night, a big tzaddik comes into her dream. At night, big tzaddik comes to her dream. Toda Rabbah. Who are you? He says, my neshama was in the tamar. And you elevated me. But תדעי לך דבר אחד. I want to tell you something. למה עשית אדמה? Why did you say אדמה? If you would have said העץ, היית מעלה אותי עוד יותר גבוה. I would go higher. אין דבר. העלית אותי. אבל תדעי לך פעם הבאה שאת עושה ברכה, make the right bracha. You elevate the neshama. Now, not every food, not every fish, not every meat has a neshama.
He was Yotzei?
Huh? Yeah, because fruits grow in the ground. So it's Yotzei, right? But he told her if she would have made the right beracha, he would have reached very high level. So we have to think a little bit, at least Shabbat, Emat Hashem, Hashem Yizakenu, Shavo Mashiach, Mashiach Yikam, Amen, Amen.